Ladies and gentlemen, guess who's back? Back again. Jamar's back.
Good to be
Tell
back.
a friend. Jamar's back. Jamar's back. It's week 17. He's eliminated, but that's okay. But
It all crumbles down. It all just crumbles down, dude.
Oh, you're the hardest working 7th place team I know.
It's awful, dude. Awful. It's just bad luck, man. That's all it is, man. And what can you do? It's
so
fantasy
it makes this
football.
game painful. It's just pain. Fantasy football is pain.
What's painful is that I'm putting up like record numbers. I have the most points in my league. That's out of everyone in my league, the entire league, and I'm in like 7th place or whatever. It sucks.
Would you pitch a new rule about scoring that they should? One of the last spots should be highest scorer.
I feel like I could definitely ruminate on that and see if anyone else would be amenable to it. But I think I'd probably lose that vote. But it is kind of a joke. I think I'm going to talk to my commissioner about it and say, dude, come on, man. I'm like literally scoring the most points, and I'm even eliminated from my consolation bracket at this point because my opponent scored 1.5 more points than I did. I was waiting for that Monday night game for Phillip Rivers to hopefully not do well, and he put up 277 yards and 2 passing touchdowns, which gave him just enough to beat me by 1.5 points. Ridiculous.
You called it though. It's a week later. You said week 1 to Pedro and I, 200 plus 2 touchdowns, and it didn't happen week 1. He was shaking it off, and here he is, old man Tutty, just throwing touchdowns to Alec Pierce, making him relevant. I mean, if anyone started him with any kind of gusto, but Phillip Rivers was a gutsy QB, and your opponent got rewarded with the win.
Well, and he also, that first week he played against Seattle, and that defense is superior. And so he could do a little bit more damage on Monday night versus the San Francisco 49ers, even though they put up 48 points against Indy. So who knows if that's even? I don't think Indy's going to make the playoffs. But good fun on Phillip Rivers. Yeah, good on Phillip Rivers for doing his best and for coming out of retirement to play a couple games. It's pretty good story in my opinion. So.
I think he's back next year. I think he got a taste, and I think he's coming back. I don't think this is just 3 games,
I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see if it's for the Colts. We'll see. We'll see what he does, man. It'll be interesting. I don't know if he's interested in being a backup or what, but this emergency 911 call that they made, even though they're 0-2 with him, still it's paid off. At least they were competing in those games. So.
It was the defense. The Colts defense let them down. If they were able to stop them at any time, they were scoring points, right? So they were competitive. They almost won versus Seattle with old man Tutty showing up, went from coaching. I think he's coaching high school. I don't remember. And now he's throwing the rock, dinking and dunking to completion. I mean, that's fun. I mean, again, the NFL has gotten better at the stories. They've saved divisional games to the end. And my Bears showed up big time. I was screaming in the car. I was listening to it on AM radio.
Oh, great.
I was having dinner with a friend, and I had my phone off to the side, so I could see it, but I kept flipping it over. I can't. 16-3. It's done. Maybe not.
Bears.
This isn't it. And then it was 16-6, and then 9, and then 16-16. And then I didn't see all the game, but I read about the onside. That was good. And then Iceman, that's his new nickname. Caleb Williams just showing up and throwing a touchdown to DJ Moore, who's now fantasy relevant. So it's a wild finish. It's weird. The Bears haven't been this good since 2018, and arguably to me since 2005. I've never been this excited, and I'm still cautiously excited about my Bears.
What a beautiful touchdown to DJ Moore that was too. It's just a really pretty pass, and just really, against the, very spirited rival there, Green Bay, especially when they had AR-12 at the helm. But every Bears fan, including yourself that I know, was just so satisfied with that victory. Like everyone was just like, man, this is just the best victory that we've had in a long time. And it's certainly paving the way for hopefully the NFC North Championship, but certainly you've clinched the playoff spot. So it's a
That's
great way to
cool.
start. Yeah, it's a great way to I mean, and look, this is only Caleb Williams' second year. I mean, the future is limitless in my opinion, especially with that head coach. They have I think a shot of being like a Belichick, Brady, Mahomes, Reed kind of combination. We'll see what happens. I think that the Bears can hopefully only get better from this point on. They still have to contend with Detroit. That's still a bit of a juggernaut and needs a little bit of repair. And also with Green Bay, that they always just seem to just have a good team. Doesn't matter what happens with that team. But we'll see. It'll be interesting. And hey, man, good on you, brother. I just it's nice to have a team to root for that's actually doing well, because at this point this week my Raiders play the New York Giants for the right to number
Last
one
place.
draft pick. We really don't need to win that game because, obviously I think we draft a quarterback and we need to draft a quarterback, and the Giants don't need to
Yes.
draft a quarterback. So it's almost like an irrelevant, draft game, in my opinion. So who cares who wins that game? We'll see what happens.
They're both going to race to not win that game. It'll be interesting who pulls who first to try to say, you know what, we're not going with Geno Smith. We're going with Brock Bowers or whoever. They'll just make anybody be QB. And yeah, I mean, it's cleanup time. This would happen usually earlier in the season, week 14 or 15. They added the game, and now the way that they have the division set up with the games at the end, it looks like almost all the teams that'll be playing to the end, because the number one spot is still a contention in both the AFC and the NFC. And so the Niners, man, like Brock Purdy, wow. Like just shutting up everyone, Mr. Irrelevant, becoming so relevant. And if you had him on your fantasy team,
Well, yeah.
wow, what a value.
They've got a great coach, man. Shanahan's an excellent coach, and he did it with Mac Jones at the helm when Purdy was out, and they have an 11-4 record. It's a really good record for
He
a
should
team
get
that
coach of the
everybody
year,
could be.
I think.
Oh, he should. Yeah, right. They're just bobbing and weaving, and I mean, who knows how far? Like, I looked at the playoff picture before we climbed on this podcast here. And in my humble opinion, any of these teams can realistically go to the Super Bowl. Any of them. Like, I think it could be like a weird Jacksonville versus the Bears. It could be like the Niners versus the Patriots. It's just like, just spin the wheel, which is kind of awesome, because I don't think we've had that in a very long time in the NFL. Usually a favorite pulls out and you're like, oh, it's definitely going to be Kansas City. It's definitely going to be Philadelphia. But with I guess the round table of all these different powerful and in equally balanced teams, it's kind of hard to imagine, just one being the odds-on favorite. I mean, Seattle, the Rams, just a lot of teams out there that could possibly be it. So we'll see.
The playoff picture's here, right? And like you mentioned, look at this. Any one of these people could go to the Super Bowl, right? Patriots, Broncos, sure. Seahawks, Bears, sure. Eagles, Niners, Chargers, Bills, Rams, sure. Like, it's really a toss-up. I think that the NFL really has figured out, at least this year, a way to create parity between teams. And we're seeing fortunes change fairly quickly. The Lions, who I think were the favorite to win the division, if not the Packers, are sitting here on the bubble with the Buccaneers. And the Vikings, who were 14-3 last year, are sitting here eliminated with the Cowboys, the Commanders.
Sure.
The Commanders were the hot team last year. And then, of course, the biggest story is the Chiefs. The Ravens are basically eliminated. I think what you said is right, that there were these perennial teams. I think the only team that was like the Eagles and the Bills, I think, are the ones that have been there a lot, got pretty far. Obviously, the Eagles are defending champs. They look a lot like last year's Kansas City team, like doing just enough to get there. And if they do go to the Super Bowl, I don't think they win. But yeah, like in my head, I was just like, I think it's Niners Jaguars, the way that the momentum is swinging. I mean, that'd be kind of awesome, to be honest.
Well, and what I love, dude, I love looking at your this little list here, and in the hunt is the Panthers, man, the team that a
Mm,
lot of people at the beginning of the season were like, "Who? Carolina? What?" Like
that was
it.
me.
Yes, yes, absolutely, man. Carolina, what? Dude, I'm super stoked on the Panthers, man, because nobody really gave them a shot. I mean, Tampa Bay is such a juggernaut. And unfortunately, they've had so many injuries, Tampa Bay has. And that probably plays into why they're on the bubble at the number 10 seed right now. But seeing at the Panthers at the potential four really makes me happy because Dave Canales, who's the head coach, a California guy, Latino, is guiding these guys to what could potentially be a playoff spot, which would be fantastic for them, especially because nobody really gave them a shot. And here they are. They could be the potential four seed in the playoffs this year. So that makes me super, super stoked that they are contending, and hopefully they can make it work because they've got I mean, they should be able to hopefully win out, right? Like, I mean, they play Seattle. Ooh,
Oh,
they play
that's really
Seattle.
bad.
Ouch.
Yeah.
And and Tampa Bay plays Miami. Ouch. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Who knows if that's gonna happen? Maybe Tampa Bay is gonna squeak in and ruin the party for Carolina. But then in week 18, they have another I mean, they've got to win out, right? I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
just how it is. They've got
That's
dude,
right.
they're playing Tampa Bay, dude. How fitting.
Yeah, they
So
play
if
each
Carolina
other
loses
at
to
the end.
Seattle, which they probably will, yeah, and then Tampa Bay,
I mean, it's
has
gonna
to,
be a showdown.
defeat Miami. Yeah, it's got to be a showdown, man. That's going to be awesome. So let's hope that the planets align and they give us a good matchup for that last week. I would really, really like it if Tampa Bay beat Miami this week and if Seattle beats Carolina this week, and then we have a showdown for the South in week 17. Make that the evening game if I was in charge,
They gotta flex that. I mean, you could see because of their opponents, they give the slight edge to the Bucks to being in the playoffs, 57% to 43%. They think the Bucks can beat them the second time around. They would have to win out to have this happen. Seattle most likely will beat the Panthers, but who knows? And after that, it's like, look, I want the Texans in. I think they're 97%, right? The Steelers sneaking in, that stinks. Because I don't like Aaron Rodgers. But hey, another well
Oh
coached
my
team,
gosh.
right?
Incredible. Well, but
It's
speaking
incredible,
of the
edible.
Steelers, man, I really like the fact that people were calling for Mike Tomlin's head. They were like, fire this guy already. We've had enough of him. Go ahead, fire him, because I would love it if the Raiders could hire him and we could be a winning team again. Seriously, good on Pittsburgh, good on the Steelers. They look pretty good down the stretch right now. They look like they could
Hmm.
potentially upset some teams even and maybe even get to the divisional round and get out of the wild card. So I'm excited to see what the potential is of a team like Pittsburgh can do once they're in the playoffs. I feel like that team could be spoiling some people's spreads, if you will.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure what Jalen Hurts is going to do the next couple of weeks. And in my sleeper league, we played a week 18, so I definitely am thinking about picking up a quarterback, and he comes to mind, Mister Rogers, to help my team if if the Hurts, the Hurts squad is sort of done and they clinched it and they're not starting their starters. That's what I'm in to. I like week 18. I think it's a man's game. You got to just deal with the externalities, with all the issues. I know a lot of people don't like playing that week, but I do. I think it's just part of the game. Well, Jamar, you kind of went through your matchup. You lost by 5 points. Was there anything specific you wanted to go
One
through?
one
One
point
and a half.
five points. 1.5 points, man. Heartbreak, dude. It just it sucks, dude. literally, if in my flex position, I had Javonte Williams, who only scored 6.3 points for me. So if I would have started Troy Franklin instead, which would have meant I would have doubled down on
Double dip.
Denver wide receivers last week, because Cortland Sutton scored 20.6 and Troy Franklin scored 10.6. I would have gotten the victory. But, hence fantasy football, and I lose by 1.5. And I scored 167 points.
That's so
my opponent scored 168.6. It's ridiculous.
So it was like number one and number two. Right?
I scored so many points.
Yeah, that's insane.
In the losing bracket, that is, in the losing bracket, and like literally all the other guys that are contending for the big cash pot at the end of the rainbow scored less than us. So hey, just remember that, champions, when you guys are hoisting the trophy over your head, just know that there was a loser that scored more points than you did.
That's part of this game. I mean, when I'm in a league with a bye, I want that bye because I know week 16 could be bad and you can just lose out to someone. That happened in our league. We had someone score 170 points in one of the losing brackets, and had anyone faced that team that week, they would have lost, including myself. I ended up scoring 132 points. It was the most of the people, the last four who were still in contention. And now it's me and Ramiro in the playoffs. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Like, I'm really excited to be up against them.
Man.
Yeah, that's why I play in multiple leagues.
I've been gone a few weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been gone a few weeks, so just keep me up to date. So what's going on in all three of them? Like, I know that the Hockley's were down and out, but what happened in your other two leagues?
Yeah, of course, man. So we've got the Hockey Leagues, as you said. I was facing Ramiro in a game that didn't matter, and we still lost, 173 to 109. So his team is great if he got in. Matthew Stafford, Bijan Robinson, Jalen Warren, George Pickens, all these players kind of exploding, and my team just doing okay. I did pick the Saints. That was a good pick up for the defense. I left Michael Pittman in there, and that was probably a mistake. And then I don't know who to start in running back, man. Like, here's Kenneth Walker on the bench doing great. Chris Rodriguez doing great on the bench. So, yeah, you already know that team's gone. Dog wearing sunglasses is in 7th place. If I just don't have one more injury, I think I get in. I went through it with Pedro. Like, there were a couple of weeks where had I started Caleb Williams instead of Jalen Hurts, I would be in the playoffs. But it wasn't a team I had much hope for because, as you saw, as I can show, week 16, I ended up only scoring like 87 points. So it's like, man, like this team wasn't going to go anywhere. So we see, Jalen Hurts doing okay, but Drake London back from injury, 4 points. Justin Jefferson finally going back into double digits, way too late. I don't know why I put Kareem Hunt in here, but to be honest, Minshew isn't so bad, but he got hurt. So that ended that. Aaron Jones doing okay. Goddard catching a touchdown. Devonta Smith doing pretty good. And then over here, this team has suffered so many injuries. Rashee Rice is out with the concussion. Blake Corum and Chris Rodriguez doing well. The kicker, defense, whatever. So yeah, like I ended up winning my game because I faced the person who scored the least in our recap. He scored 83.94 and I score 85.5. So I don't think this league has any incentives for me winning. But that's what happened here. You can see the brackets are up here, and all these teams scored over 100 with the championships being who they are. But you can see how many teams are doing well. Finally, this 4-10 team, last place, 164 points, right? It's just happening too little, too late. And then finally with the sleeper league,
some of the names there, man.
Yeah, yeah. Rotten Muff. Yeah, this is more like your guys' style.
Yeah, it's very funny, dude. I'm looking at the Furious Beavers. Love that name. Squee. That makes me chuckle. Yeah. Doug wearing sunglasses, dude. That's very funny.
Yeah,
I mean, like this is a lot of fun, man. It's a fun league.
It's a fun group of people. And then, it was so for the sleeper league, Pedro made the playoffs in dramatic fashion. He won his last game. I lost my last game, which put me in 2nd place. Ramiro got 1st place. And that both gave us the bye in this league. And so, I had the week off last week, and it was very like stress free. I kind of cared about my other teams, but not really. Like, what am I going to do? So, last week, Pedro loses 140 to 102 about. And, he was disappointed, but I thought he played a good season. He just, he was basically playing the waiver wire and praying, and it had worked for so many weeks with Jason Myers and the Houston defense showing up for him almost always, and Goddard being on his bench. So he could have started Goddard. He still would have lost, but it would have been closer. But yeah, like it came down to the wire in terms of like the league placement. But then with this week was a playoff game for me, and my team showed up, man. We got Hurts and Harvey scoring both around 20 points. Swift not doing great, but I didn't have many other options. I finally did great with my bench. I benched the right people. Breece Hall, like his season's basically over. Like I have no hopes for him. It's kind of sad, really. And then
it's one of the reasons why I lost.
You got to start him, right? You were like maybe hoping he would do well versus.
Of course, yeah. I by starting Breece and Javonte Williams, that essentially killed my run there, and I should have started Troy Franklin in my flex, but he had a couple of bad weeks, and well, here we are. Now I'm just talking from the loser consolation bracket.
But our mutual favorite of the year, the sleeper hit, Chris Olave, scoring 31 points.
Booyah.
I mean, Lord Jesus Christ and Latter-day Saints. I mean, look at this guy. He's whiteout 6.
Love him.
He had this interview and he was like, I was going to retire maybe from football. And, to me, I want him back on my team. This is a keeper league. I'm like, do I keep Jalen Hurts and Chris Olave? I think I do. I don't know, man. Like this guy is just killing it right now with a rookie quarterback. So it'd be between him and Nico Collins. Nico Collins, just hasn't really shown up the way I wanted. He's still great, right? He's a little older, but I could keep Olave and Collins. We don't have rules like we could keep 2 wideouts if we want. And then I just gotta bet on quarterback.
Sure.
Hurts was like pretty good, not great, not what I was hoping for. And so,
Hurts,
like my opponent.
Hurts killed me when I needed him to show up.
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, that's what's tough with him this year. So that catches you up. That's basically what's been happening.
Man. Yeah, that game. Tough, dude. It's like if you look back on like what could have, should have,
like a smash spot for me. Yeah, it looked like a smash spot, and he did okay. Like he did about as good as a Shador Sanders. I don't know. Like just 20 points is pedestrian. I want him to score 25 or more every week. I have some coulda, woulda, shouldas. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready, brother.
I coulda started Darren Waller again. I started Kelsey instead. To be fair, Minshew was the quarterback, and at the end of the fourth quarter last game, he was throwing it to Kelsey. Might be playing for pride. I think I have to sit Kelsey the rest of the year. I mean, they have their backup third string quarterback. I read somewhere, I think it was clickbait, that Kelsey might be an emergency quarterback, which should be interesting, but I think I got to bench Kelsey. I should have put in
quarterback. What else? Yeah. What else can't Mr. Taylor Swift do?
Mr. Taylor Swift. Let me look this up. Travis Kelce, QB? Question mark. Yeah, he's the emergency quarterback. So,
love it.
If another injury happens, all of a sudden he's a QB and he could score 11, 12, 13 points as a quarterback. I'm not going to take that risk, but that's kind of fun to think about.
You'd have to start him as the quarterback. There's some sort of like technicalities there that I think would be kind of difficult, but
I think the points would still count, just like Taysom Hill, who's like doing everything right now. Again.
Taysom Hill, sure.
He's a tight end, but
wow.
I don't think so. I'm most likely going to sit him. So, to be honest, like my team did about as good as possible. It was the one thing where I probably should have sat him. I should have put in Chris Rodriguez and Blake Corum in my Yahoo league. I'm not really paying attention there anymore. I left Hunt in. It just was like, I don't know. I saw Tennessee. I thought maybe they could run the ball, but once Minshew got hurt, it was like kind of over. But those two, Chris Rodriguez looks good, man. Like every time he gets the ball, he's like popping off 5 yards or something. And Blake Corum looks like he's going to steal like Kyron Williams' role next year. Like he looks great. And I would have started Ken Walker if I knew. But who knows? I was talking to Ramiro last podcast, and he's going to sit him forever. He hates him. He's got a grudge against him. Maybe he shouldn't. Who knows? But, like, the hockey leagues got beat up by Zamiro's team. You saw the score. Like, it was just hopeless. So, again, I'm not really caring too much about those teams. I'm playing for pride. But that's my coulda, shoulda, wouldas, right? Like, it's a tough – these last few weeks are really tough. And I think you really have to sort of read the tea leaves and hope. Like some of these backup quarterbacks or number twos, like Blake Corum is sharing it 50%. So I think he's in the top 30 minimum right now in running backs.
Dude, I mean, it's an interesting time of year too, where you're going to start some people that maybe you wouldn't have started week 1 or week 2. And you're like, well, they've been having a couple of decent last couple weeks. I mean, Colby Parkinson being one of them. He wasn't that great last week, but he's had some interesting upside weeks where you're like, do I start him or do I start, somebody, that you're normally accustomed to starting a tight end, which is just kind of like a fluid position anyways. It's like, unless you have like a Harold Fannin or, Brock Bowers,
so
maybe. It's like
I had him, dropped him.
So,
but he's doing well now. So he was huge. Yeah, I mean that was in the hockey league, so that team's cursed. But I had him briefly in the Yahoo league, but again, I lost out. So he's showing up now. I think Njoku's hurt, right? So he'll be an interesting pick next year. And so Jamar, like, I'm curious. Are you thinking about next year already? Is it too soon? Are there some favorites?
Yeah. Oh, never too early to talk about next year, especially if you've been eliminated like I've been eliminated. I've already got my keepers in mind. I've already, have some people I think that, I would love to draft. But now that I'm not getting the number 1 pick, I'll probably be like the number 6 or 5 pick.
You get to keep 2 players. I mentioned who I might keep. I might keep both of my wideouts and let go of Jalen Hurts. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is an obvious pick, and I'm trying to think who else is on your team. It's Drake London. Yeah, are those your 2 keepers?
Yep.
Yeah,
those are my 2 keepers for sure, man. I just was super bummed. I love Jalen Hurts, and I think he's a magnificent player, but I am very, very okay with not keeping him next year. He really disappointed me when I needed him the most. And, he's one of those guys that, hey, man, he comes through in the clutch a lot, but I just need some more, stability at my wideout and running back position. And it hurts, but I'm going to have to drop Hurts to Hurts.
The truth hurts, right? And that's what the Philly Papers will say if they end up not going to the Super Bowl. So to me, quarterback's a huge priority for you now. It was solved before last year. Would you use your first pick on a QB? Maybe even your 2nd round pick?
Nope.
No?
Probably not. I just feel like at this point, like I've seen sort of how quarterbacks trend in my league and seeing the guys who are successful in my league, and those guys just don't even pick a quarterback to like round 5, round 6. And I might do the same and just bulk up at the other skill positions. And like a guy like Drake May, or like a guy like even, who knows? Like even like a Bryce Young, or who knows? I mean, somebody could be able to.
I would keep Drake May in your league. I would keep him.
Yeah,
that would be. I
would too, man. But if you've got a strong wideout and a strong running back, it's kind of like, why would I? It's kind of the argument there. And it's one of the reasons why I held on to Jalen Hurts for so long, is because I just wasn't bulky enough in at running back or wide receiver in order to justify carrying one at each position. So I said, Jalen Hurts is pretty automatic, which he still kind of is, but I just felt really, really just kind of upset to just cut
Yeah.
right through the emotion of it all that he didn't show up when I needed him to show up. So I'm through with Jalen Hurts. Who knows if he's still available in the 5th round of next season's draft, then perhaps I'll pick him up. But I think it's a good time to say goodbye.
I picked quarterbacks earlier this year than last. It was the advice I had heard. One of the fantasy analysts I like was talking that way. And in the past, I would discount it more. And you're seeing kind of quarterbacks step up, right? And this year, especially with Trevor Lawrence, Brock Purdy, it just seems like so many options. Aaron Rodgers, that you could have streamed to the dream, right? Like, did you need a quarterback? Probably not. I mean, to me, the previous wisdom was always there's so many. And if it's a 1 QB league, you don't have to put a premium on it. Maybe a Josh Allen, and it was Lamar Jackson, though this year will scare a lot of people away from him. I don't even think he's a keeper, right, in your league. I think you do go running back, or running back wideout in your league, and then find your quarterbacks much later. And so for me, this is my first keeper league. It's the league I started, and I'm excited to see how that plays out. And, I'm thinking wideout because I want to start strong. I don't think Jalen Hurts will bring me to the top. I think I can see like what people let go. And then once I have these 2 wideouts, I can just grab as many running backs as I can, because my running back core isn't great. I don't know if DeAndre Swift is worth keeping, using that spot for. I thought he came in and did great, but I don't know. I think those 2 guys are phenomenal.
Me too, man. We'll see what happens next year, man. But I'm already planning for next year, seeing that I got eliminated, and now I just have to
it was just
do my
luck,
analyst
though.
duties.
Skill was not.
People.
Yeah,
it was luck.
It was just luck. So you did everything right.
It hurts. Like I said, it hurts. I did everything right. I've got the most points in my league. It's just whatever. All good. Move on. Bad year. Move on. Bad season. Move on.
Bad season. Jamar, give me your coulda, shoulda, wouldas. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready, buddy. Well, I think this is going to be an easy one this year, or this episode, I should say. I could have started Troy Franklin instead of Javonte Williams, and I should have done that. And that means I would have made it to the next round of my playoffs, and I could have been vying for the number 1 pick in my draft this next year. So none of that worked out. So, here I am in 7th place. And am I happy about it? Nope. Is it just the way how fantasy football works? Yep. So, hey, what can you do, man? It just to the victor, to the spoils go the victor, or whatever that phrase is, So I give it up to the people who win, and hopefully next year I'll have their luck and I'll win. So,
yes, you're gonna win. You're gonna win. Is that it? That was just one move, huh?
So that's it, man. I mean, that's just easy. Literally one move dictated my
one move difference.
Would have and should have.
It's the worst. It's the worst. The worst of all worlds, Jamar. Well, guess what? You could still watch football games. And if you want, you could participate in many a betting site. They advertise all the time on the NFL. And I actually won a parlay this last week. So I'm up $50. That was fun. And I told Zane this last week. Yeah, it's a drug. So I got to be careful. I bet a little here, I bet a little there. My unit is $6, so I don't bet a lot of money. I'm just trying to make a little scratch for fun. Makes the games interesting. But what's more interesting is talking about my Bears. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a Sunday night game to preview as soon as ESPN loads it up, where the Bears are facing the 49ers, the Brock Purdy-led 49ers. For every week before this, I was saying it's McCaffrey's team. It's the McCaffrey 49ers. He's been carrying this team. And to be fair, he did still get a touchdown, a couple of touchdowns this last week. But boy, howdy, did Purdy look like the heir to the throne. Phillip Rivers, it was 19 years between them. And, the boy wonder throws 5 touchdowns. And, he, continues to show why he should be paid all that money. And it was pretty incredible. And so, right now the Bears are in the playoffs. They're still somehow able to get the 1 seed if they win out. So it's a very interesting contest. We have the analytics saying the Niners are favored by 61.4%. It is in sunny California. It looks like it's going to be 50 degrees. Tickets are as low as $330. And Vegas has the Niners winning by a field goal, with the total being over 52.5 points. So it'll be a close game according to those odds. And the fans have also picked the Niners 69% of the time. And so we have our leaders. Caleb Williams, 3,400 yards. He's only 400 yards away from being the Bears franchise leader. That's incredible to me, right? Eric Kramer currently from 1999 still has it at around 3,800 yards. So I think he's going to do it. He's going to be our new franchise leading quarterback. And, if he's lucky, throws like crazy, he can get over 4,000 yards, which would be cool. You could see McCaffrey over here with 1,000 yards, but his look, he's both leaders, right? Rushing and receiving despite all the injuries. And right now, the Bears' notable injuries. We have an O lineman out, Luther Burden questionable, a Dunze questionable. The Niners, Kittle's questionable, Pearsall's questionable, and a bunch of defenses questionable. Jamar, who's going to win? Do you like these? Is there somewhere you're leaning towards?
It's so tough, dude. This is a really tough one. It's going to be an excellent game. I'm definitely going to be watching it. Should have hopefully a very well televised game. It's like you said, the ESPN game of the week. Oh gosh, man! It's coin toss. It's a coin toss for me. I'm going to go with the Bears just because I like the momentum they bring, and I feel like they really want to close out the NFC North, and I just like their energy. San Francisco is going to bring everything they've got, and they've got similar records like you mentioned, and it's going to be an interesting game. I just don't know who's going to win that game.
Yeah, that's right. I think the Niners are going to win, unfortunately. I just seen Brock Purdy playing the way he does, but I like the spread. If you're 3.5, I would take the Bears. I think it will be close. There could be some heroics. Let me pause. You back? All right, cool. Jamar, I'm scared again. My team is 11-4, and I don't believe it. So Brock Purdy scoring 48 points against the Colts scared me. And, he hadn't looked that good ever in his career. And Caleb Williams is looking excellent in clutch. And so it's going to be a great game. I think the over happens. I think that, the Bears have a chance to win. I think I would take them at 3.5. I might take an alt prop bet. But yeah, I'm excited. I wish I could see this game in person. It's just a little bit out of my price range. But yeah, man, I mean, go Bears. They're in either way. So, that's what's exciting is we got some playoff football for the Bears fans to watch.
Well,
all right.
Oddly enough, I just feel like even though there's a lot sort of like they should have a lot of pressure on them, I just feel like the Bears are going to come into this game with feeling like they've got no pressure. And that's a scary team. A scary team is one that kind of is cool, calm, and relaxed and out there having fun. And something tells me that the Bears have an opportunity to do that. So even though they are underdogs in this game, I think the Bears are going to win by a squeaker. And I can't wait to see this game. It's going to be a good game.
Yeah, I think DeAndre Swift should have a really good game here. It might be the tandem. Maybe both get a touchdown between him and Monangai. I think DJ Moore shows up again. I don't think they should rush either Luther Burden or Romeo Doubs off of injury since they clinched the playoffs. It'd be nice to have them back, but DJ Moore's earning his paycheck. They're finding chemistry. And then, of course, like the key to the game is McCaffrey. If the Bears can just wrap that one player up, the Niners' identity kind of, they can go to Kittle, but he's questionable. Pearsall's questionable. So you're really just trying to wrap up McCaffrey and seeing if boy wonder, Brock Purdy can do it again.
We'll see, man. It's going to be a good game.
Up next, we have the Eagles versus the Bills. I mean, Josh Allen might be hurt. They've clinched the playoffs. The Eagles, I think, yes, they've also clinched the playoffs. They won their division. They are still able to get first place. It's not as likely. I could see them getting out ahead and beating the Bills. I think this analytics predictor is assuming Josh Allen plays. It's slightly favorited to Buffalo, 50.3%. Tickets are as low as $308. They're playing in New York, Buffalo area, 41 degrees, no snow yet, according to AccuWeather. And the fans have picked the Bills at 78% as well. Vegas sees this in the Bills' favor, and that's crazy to me. So I don't know what's going on. I think the news hasn't come out yet whether Josh Allen plays. I think that changes all of this completely. I was hoping Hurts would do better versus the Commanders, and he did okay. And I'm in the playoffs. So, believe me, I'm thinking, is Jalen Hurts my guy? Or should I pick up Aaron Rodgers? Should I do something different? So, the total's low. I think I'd go the over here with only 43.5. I think the Eagles will win, and I think they'll cover the spread. Jamar, what do you see happening here?
I agree with you, dude. I think that the Eagles, this is the time of year where a team like the Eagles just steps up, and usually it's true for Buffalo as well too. But the Eagles have more to fight for. I think that they would really like that home field advantage for as long as they can have it for, barring that they play against a team that has a better record. And then there's so much competitiveness in that arena right now, the NFC playoff hunt, that one loss can really just knock the Eagles into like the 6th or the 7th seed or something weird like that. So I think that they bring that energy into the game, knowing that if they can win out, that they would have a better chance of teams coming to them as opposed to, playing a championship game at Seattle or at Los Angeles or who knows where. But yeah. So I feel like the Eagles bring it in this game. Also should be a close game, tough game. Should be, in the harsh Buffalo weather, winter weather. So I like the Eagles. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, you painted a great picture. I think that they have a lot more to lose, the Eagles, by losing this game, that they could keep hunting for home field advantage. They have a lot to prove as the Super Bowl winning team. I know AJ Brown wants to catch footballs. I mean, one player I really missed on, I really didn't think he would repeat his success, was James Cook the third. I mean, boy, howdy, 1,500 scrimmage yards, like 12 TDs. Like I'm going to be looking for him if he's not kept in my league next year. I mean, it's just somebody who deserved that contract. And, their wideout core, Khalil Shakir, only having 684 yards. I mean, Josh Allen needs a number one wideout badly, and he's doing it. And he's being Superman, but he got hurt. So, he may not even play this game. I think the numbers do change a lot if he's not in.
Even though Philly wins this game, in my opinion, I feel as if Buffalo, with all the right components, especially with James Cook relieving Josh Allen of so much pressure, that they have a shot of going to the Super Bowl. But in the AFC, it's such a grab bag. I mean, any of those teams could realistically make it. I mean, throw Denver in the mix, throw the Chargers in the mix, throw the Patriots in the mix, throw the Steelers, even Houston, Denver, like these are all teams that could realistically go to the Super Bowl. It's like spin the wheel. Like I have no idea who's going to go to the Super Bowl in the AFC. It's a dart throw. If I were to pick one of them, and if you just force me right now to say who's going to go to the Super Bowl in the AFC, I'm gonna go with the Buffalo Bills. Even though
Wow.
even though they're probably gonna lose this week against Philly, I just have a feeling that they're saving the best for last. They're in the playoffs, and they're gonna just give us the Buffalo that we have known for a while to perhaps make a run here, and which could be, one of their final runs. We're seeing Kansas City is kind of like maybe bowing out. The light's getting dim in Kansas City, and
Yeah.
we'll see if that light is getting dim in Buffalo as well too.
I mean, if you were to push me, I think the Patriots are going to go to the Super Bowl with Drake May and his playing and that defense and the coach. I think my dark horse candidate is the Jaguars. I still have a hard time believing they're for real, but they destroyed the Denver Broncos, who looked like the perennial favorite in the AFC. So there's a lot of great teams right now. These top 12 teams, you name any of them, I think any of them could win, except for me, the Chargers. I don't think they're going to go that far. I think they've been lucky so far. I mean, I just don't think they're going to do it. But yeah, man, I mean, it's some exciting football to keep and to cover the next couple of weeks here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like the fact that there are some younger teams and guys stepping up, like, the Bo Nixes and the Trevor Lawrences. It's going to be exciting to see that maybe there's a page being turned in the NFL lore, and we're not relying on the Mahomeses and the Josh Allens and the Lamar Jacksons to be kind of like the guys that are there every year. And we got some new people that want to go for the crown. So that is exciting.
Yeah, it's a bunch of quarterback projects like a Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, along with second-year quarterbacks. JJ McCarthy excluded. We have Caleb Williams, Bo Nix, Drake May, all looking like tops in their class, really turning their franchises around and donking all over every other team so far. So yeah, it's exciting. It's like a new era. We're leaving their era. They're still dominant. They can still, like you said, like a Josh Allen is dangerous, and they could win the Super Bowl just because of his talent. So it's not over yet. It's just waning. The sun is starting to set on that dynasty. Ravens versus Packers. I want the Ravens to win, obviously. It's split right here in the analytics. The fans love the Packers. Go figure. Vegas says the Packers, 2.5 points, 40-point total. It's going to be low scoring. I agree with that. Seeing what happened with the Bears, it was defensive minded. It could be more. It's going to be in Green Bay, though. It's going to be cold. So it's going to play out a lot like the Chicago game, I think. I don't know if Jordan Love plays. He's in the concussion protocol. That makes a big difference. A Malik Washington isn't as good. Josh Jacobs may not be playing. Micah Parsons being on IR, and we have Lamar Jackson who left the game also. So this might be the battle of the backups here, and tickets are as low as $133. Jamar, what do you think?
Oof, this is another coin toss of a game. I just feel like they both need to win, right? Baltimore needs to stay alive. And Green Bay, even though they've clinched, or are they in the bubble?
They're on the bubble.
They're on the bubble. Yeah, they got to win too.
Yeah, I mean, if Detroit loses, they're in. So Detroit has to keep winning out, and Pittsburgh is there. Though DK Metcalf is out for 2 games for punching a guy in the face, which is ridiculously stupid.
A fan,
dude. Who's the millionaire? Who's the guy he's going to get sued. He's going to have to pay that guy off. So that really changes things for that, the Steelers future here. But the Lions aren't out yet, but they're they have to win out. If the Packers win and the Lions lose, or if just the Lions lose, that's it. So the Packers, they're in the driver's seat with a 93% chance playoff probability of getting in. So they may not play super hard knowing that. And then, the Ravens are basically not going to make it into the playoffs. So it's a game for pride, but this team probably wants to end strong and talk about next year already. Jamar, they did re-sign Mark Andrews. They're probably not going to keep Isaiah Likely. I don't think either of those players end up on your team next year.
Nope. Yeah, I was disappointed by Mark Andrews' output. He showed up in a couple games when I really needed him to,
It's
but
true.
he's kind of had a disappointing season the rest of the way. Tough game to call. I think the Packers win by a field goal. It's a tough game. They I think that they both want to win. Certainly, Green Bay needs to win, and they're in the bubble, so I think that they are calling their playoff shot. But I mean, Baltimore. I mean, if things go right for them, they could somehow end up in the playoffs somehow, even though they're on the bubble. But I don't see it happening. I think the Packers win this game.
I do too. They're gonna play them hard, but at the end, I think the Packers do win. I will change my mind though if it's Malik Washington. He did pretty good. He did pretty good. So I think that I'm cool with this bottom line here, taking the Packers spread, the under, and the win. The only thing I might change is the over, but I think it's going to be a low scoring game. There's a lot of people hurting. This one's going to be cold, so that's how the cookie crumbles, Jamar.
That is correct, sir.
Jamar, our ultimate game to preview, unless we feel like doing one more, is the Chargers versus the Texans. We have the Chargers here, 51.7% by the analytics being ahead. The fans are picking the Chargers by 63%. Vegas has the Chargers by 2.5. So losing less than a field goal or winning by less than a field goal. The Houston Texans defense is for real, and tickets are as low as $74. Why? Because it's in SoFi Stadium and there are no Charger fans in LA. So it's going to be great weather to play football. CJ Stroud did not play well last week. And this Chargers team is like Jekyll and Hyde. Sometimes they look, man, those first 2-3 games, they looked incredible. And they have their running back, my favorite, Omarion Hampton, who tanked. One of the reasons that my hockey leagues didn't do well. There's other reasons. And Ladd McConkey disappeared for a long time. Hey, Nico Collins is on my championship team. So I'm hoping for some good touchdown yardage and stuff there. Are there any notable injuries that I know about? Kamani Vidal is hurt, so he ended up being quite the second running back. He was on Pedro's team. So I think the Houston Texans win this game. I think that they are just a better defense. The weather's good. They're, on the bubble somehow. Are they on the bubble? Yeah, they're like number 7. I think they want to win out and they're in the hunt. What is this? Yeah, they gotta just keep. If they win this one, I think they clinch it. So I see them winning. I don't know. What do you think, Jamar?
Tough one, man. Another good game here. I mean, if the playoffs were to end today, or if the season were to end today, and we get in the playoffs, it'd be the number 5 ranked Chargers versus the number 7 ranked Texans. Give me the Chargers on this one. I feel right now they're starting to hit a stride, and they know that they could possibly move up in the ranking somehow. Maybe they don't catch the Broncos, so they think they hold on to that 5th spot no matter what. But yeah, I feel like Houston has more to play for, but still, I just feel like the Chargers want to prove something and just kind of send a message to the AFC that they're going to be a team to contend with. And man, it's going to be an interesting playoff scenario. I'm looking at all those teams that are in the AFC, and I know we talked about it ad nauseum on this episode, but man, I mean, could you imagine any of those matchups?
Row.
It's just,
It's
could you
so
imagine
good.
any of those matchups are great? Jaguars versus Chargers, or Bills versus Broncos, or Patriots versus Texans, Steelers versus the Bills. It's like, what? It's like, come on, there's way too much competition, man. It's really, really awesome. I love seeing how unpredictable this season has actually turned out to be. And probably a reason why, fantasy football has been so unpredictable this year, because there's just so much competition this year. So,
The
so
competition
yeah.
has
So
been really.
to go back to the initial point, Chargers hosting the Texans. I just feel as if the Texans, just that offense may
They're
not
losing it.
quite be there yet.
Like CJ Stroud, he's had his sophomore and now junior year slump.
Yeah, correct.
Right?
Correct.
Like barely beat the Raiders. This should be a smash spot. Looks like it was a defensive touchdown, bunch of Kareem Fairbairn field goals, a Dalton Schultz touchdown. Yeah, I mean, it's a disappointing game from CJ Stroud against, your now worst performing Raiders of a couple of decades probably now, despite the talent of Ashton Genty. If you have Ashton Genty on your team, you are happy as fuck.
Yeah, he did
right?
great.
Like, because look at that, man. Like he finally shows up. So that would be someone I'm curious if they, if there's a keeper league and they don't keep him. I'm sure they will. But yeah, he only gets 187 yards. He's 23 of 35, one TD. I don't know why this was such a struggle for them. I didn't watch the game, so I don't know, but it was close. It was close. And so, yeah, man, I mean, do I change my mind and go with Jamar? I think I do. I think that just seeing how bad they did against the Raiders, it just doesn't give me a lot of faith, man. The Chargers destroyed the Cowboys. I didn't even watch this game either. And so I think they're on a roll. I think, Jamar, I think you have the analysis right. This should be an interesting game to watch.
Yeah, I'll definitely watch that game, and it's here at SoFi. So if I'm got nothing going on Sunday, I'm thinking that those tickets probably going to drop to a pretty affordable price.
Oh, they will. They're just going to keep on dropping. All right, hermanos, gracias por oírnos mucho. My Spanish will get better over time. But here we are at the Color Commentary Podcast. Jamar, it's week 17. You're out, but you're still playing, right? You still have a matchup or something?
I don't have a matchup, but I'm just playing for fun at this point.
You're just gonna see. You're gonna start your lineup anyway, because you've been how quickly it went from preseason to now to it being over, man. Like
it's fast.
This is fast. This is our 19th episode of Color Commentary, and thank you, audience, for being there. This is something we'll continue to do. I'm excited to do some mock drafts. Probably, excited to do mock drafts pretty soon. I just am excited to talk about what teams look like next year. If you've got the bug, please share this podcast. Tell people to like, subscribe, and spread the word. The Color Commentary is the place to listen, to laugh, and to love fantasy football. Jamar, what's your last word?
Well, it was a great season, and disappointed that even though I scored the most points in my entire league, that I'm out in seventh place or whatever it is. But that's fantasy football, brother. Just gotta accept it for what it is. It no matter how good you are or how many points you score, just sometimes the luck has you against somebody that's going to beat you, and that's just fantasy football. So good luck to everyone. Hopefully the ones that are still out there enjoy their victories.
Thanks for watching our podcast. We'll be back next week to clean up this mess and talk about Zamiro's and Ramiro's matchup. We have a 2-week game coming up. That's exciting. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.